All right, so we decided to go with the Henry garage door insulating kit. Now, at first I thought this was gimmicky. I thought it was like, you know, I just thought I was smarter than the system, and I was like, this can't be that easy, and this can't be the like perfect solution, but I think it is, and I'm gonna tell you why. One of the things I considered was actually just buying a 4x8 piece of extruded foam board, like a 1-inch foam board, and putting that in here. Issue with that is, first of all, it's ugly, right? There's all kinds of different colors. If you get the white one, it's got like R-Tech written all over it. So just for like the looks, I just wasn't really into it. I think this looks a lot better. Also, this becomes with a kind of a protectant plastic layer on it. So this is like the foam, right? And this is like the protectant layer. I mean, it's not like it's thick plastic and it's gonna stop if you throw a ball against it, it probably will dent it. But it's enough protection, and also it's a little shiny, so I think it reflects the light and it looks good. They cut this in here, so this is a little bit more flexible, better, because we're gonna make sure we install it correctly. You could have R70, and if you install it bad, you have R like 2. I would recommend this. This is R4.8. This is Henry. Get this at Home Depot, get this at Lowe's. It's right on the shelf. It's like 70 bucks a door. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to kind of look at our door and assess how this thing is put together. In my case, I have these channels. These channels are 2.5 inches deep. And I have those channels here, here. I don't have it here, but I have it here as well, all right? And I went around and I checked everywhere. All my panels that have that recess are 2.5 inches. Also, you wanna check the height of every one of your panels, because sometimes the top or the bottom panel is a different size. Mine are all consistent, so go around, just double check everything. Another thing I did is my garage doors are actually gray or like a brownish color. I went around and painted all mine white just so that it does look better. What I decided to do, and I tried to just actually cut it at the size this was and shove it in there, and it didn't work. You can't do it that way. So what I did was, since mine is 2.5 inches deep, these little channels here, I cut 2-inch pieces, all right? And I shoved them in there. So put 2-inch pieces, and I'm not worrying about any of these screws. We're just gonna shove these in, all right? I went around and I cut all of them. I actually used a lot of the cutoffs from this one to fill the gaps in there. So I'm gonna show you how I cut the 2-inch pieces. And really what you wanna do is get yourself a knife like this, something that extends out. And this takes three cuts to cut each panel. And I would highly suggest, if you have a drywall T-square, if you don't have one of these, just go out and buy one. If you're a DIYer, you're watching this video, you're probably gonna be doing drywall at some point. Having one of these squares is really nice. All right, so we're gonna cut our first piece. So what I do is I take a full piece. We're gonna use the factory edge here. We're gonna measure, and I like to put the two 2x4s down as well to kind of keep it lifted off the table. We'll line this up on the factory edge, right around 2 inches. I would actually go a little less than 2 inches, instead of going over 2 inches. What we do is we take our knife, and we just want to actually just break through this first material with the first cut. So don't get crazy. It's like drywall. We just want to cut that kind of like the paper on the drywall. Then what we could do is extend our knife. This is going to take three cuts, and make sure you're going up and down as well. You don't want to have any angles on this, because that'll make it harder to install. Now we do our third cut, which our third cut will go all the way through. And I find usually 3 cuts is what you need. And it's that easy. So now you have your 2-inch piece, right? And our 2-inch pieces will fill in these little gaps here. Run into some spots where you can't get it in there because that bolt might be sticking out too far. So no big deal. All we're gonna do is we'll loosen these out just a little bit. It's enough to get that on there. I like to have the factory edge on the outside. And then once it's in there, we can run all these back. Good. So the reason why I like this one is you'll see there's insulation all the way through. Insulation in there. Look at that, there's insulation all the way through. This whole panel is insulated. All right, so let me show you what we did. So we have the 2 inches in here, right? Each one of these is filled 2 inches. That means we have a 1/2 inch overhang. Now, we don't really need to do too much math here. We're going to put this in there, and I see that I'm right at 45 inches, okay? You may want to make these panels, when you cut them, an 1/8 inch shorter, because there's some variations in this door and the foam will form to itself, you know? Or make it right at 45. I make all mine right at 45. All right. Now, the other thing I will say, and I'll point this out, is this one is 44 and a half. I've already measured these. This one's shorter. So if you're doing this, do the 45s first. Reason being is if you like miscalculate something or you screw something up, you might be able to use the one that you messed up on the shorter end. I mean, it's only a 1/2 inch. But always work your way larger to smaller, because you can always use that mess up on the smaller panels. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's cut the 45. And we'll make our mark right at 45. Okay, I can use a pen, marker, whatever you have to make your mark. I'm at 45, I'm good. You gotta really be careful because you don't have any extra panels with this. You'd have to go buy a whole nother set. And they had 2 of these sitting on the ground that were like kind of messed up that I tried to get them to sell me at Lowe's. So I was like, hey, if I give you, can you just sell me these for a couple bucks or give them to me? I mean, you're gonna throw them out. And I couldn't get them to give them to me. Or, you know, sell them to me as like a clearance price, or just sell them to me at whatever price because it's part of it. So you really, you know, if you have that opportunity upstairs, you see a kit that was blown apart and maybe there's a few extra ones, maybe try to buy a couple extra panels just so you have them in case you make a mistake. But we're not making any mistakes here. So 45. And what I'm gonna do is I'm cutting on this one. I'm gonna make sure I cut straight down. And if anything, I'm gonna cut on an angle this way. You know, back cut it. I don't wanna cut it this way. So you cut it that way, then when you're looking at the face, you might obviously see the inside of the foam, right? We wanna see the front be nice and crisp. All right, so I'm gonna cut this one, cut through the tape first. Okay, cut one. Like I said, this is a 3-cut process. I'm holding my blade a little bit in. All right, and then one more. That's our final cut. There we go. This takes some practice, but learn from me. You really want to be careful because they are flexible, but if you flex it too much, like I have flexed it a little bit too much, it kind of wrinkles up and I don't know. I mean, these are all pretty good, but every once in a while it wrinkles up. Like that one's wrinkled up, I don't know why. Some of them are perfect, but it's just because of the pressure and the way you do it. So let me show you how I'm doing it. Right? And then I take it and I kind of put my hand here and I'm sort of trying to bow it. So we're gonna get the sides in first. So bow it, get that in there like that, and then you kind of work your way down, right? Then we go on this side and get all this in, all right? So now we're looking, now we're good. And I just rinsed that. Now what you wanna do is you wanna basically put pressure on this, and we're gonna push this into that top panel. All right, so now it's in there. Then we're gonna push up. All right, push up. And we're now filling that top upper panel. This is gonna give us some flexibility. Now what we're gonna do is carefully try to get these corners in. So I'm gonna work on this side. Once you get it in, you actually feel it sort of relax. Because right now it's under tension, right? It's basically a little bit of a fight. There we go. There we go. Now I'm not excited. I might have to replace these gloves. I think I could see handprints on there from this. Probably not a good idea to use black gloves. But there's our panel, all right? Here, we put this in here. And then we're just gonna fill this in. All right, and that's what we're looking at. That's all insulated. And so for this panel, it's pretty much the same. It's the same as for all of them, except this one, we gotta take off this bracket, right? So no big deal, it's not under tension or anything like that. Just take the screws out, throw them down here, take this mount off, move this out. Keep your hands clean because of the white panels. You don't wanna do what I did down here. All right, let me show you how to do this one now. So this one, again, 2.5 inch channel, it's got a 2 inch piece in there. I cut this at the exact measurement. This is 44.5 from this piece of foam to this channel right here. I'm actually gonna take the factory edge, and that's what's gonna go against here. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We'll just put this in, pull out the center, get that top in there, right? Work our way around. We're gonna be very careful to not break this. We also have this roller down here, which is kind of a little bit of an issue. We're gonna get around that. Basically just push this in like we did on all the other ones. This then allows us to push this up. And you want to be careful using your thumbs to push it in, because when you use your thumbs, you sometimes put these little indents in it. So you want to use your palms as much as possible and keep your hands clean. Our last panel, I think that took less than an hour to do. And I think we're going to get volumes of a benefit from this upgrade. Not only does it look great, but we should see some monetary benefit in the next year or so. We'll see. All right, so that's where we're gonna end this video. It's been a few weeks and I absolutely love my insulated garage door. We've also paired this insulated door with the Thermotrax system. So this system, and I'll put a link to the video right here where I installed it. This system, what you see here, it actually bends in here and it pushes the door against an additional seal it includes in that track. I'm not gonna get into that, but with the insulated door and the Thermotrax system, this garage stays toasty warm with just a little space heater like this. What I like to do is I just leave the door open, use the space heater, and the heat stays in this garage. It's amazing. I'm very happy with my insulated garage door. Now, I'm gonna ask you to subscribe to the channel. This is part of a bigger series where we are finishing this garage. See, we're in the middle of doing some trim over there. I'm gonna ask you to subscribe, like this video, leave me a comment down below. I'm Mike, Family DIY TV, and I'm insulated garage door out.